Hi hearties, welcome back to the Teacup Trail. We are on episode 7 of season 8. Sorry for the delay with the holidays going on. Life is getting busy once again for me. I hope you still enjoying the Teacup Trail. We are halfway through season 8 and I'm so excited for the remaining 6 episodes of this season. Happy December, by the way. I can't believe December is here, and as you can see, I'm so ready for the holidays. Anyway, let's get started with the first scene.
With lemon and honey.
Thank you.
In case you're hungry, I asked Gustav to prepare some sandwiches for all. It should be ready shortly.
That was very nice.
One of the small things that caught my attention was that when Lucas brought the tea over to Elizabeth, he mentioned about honey and lemon. Not only it was a nice gesture of Lucas bringing tea to her, he remembers how she liked her tea. And Elizabeth was surprised by the nice service that Lucas gave her, but I think more important than that is that she was very happy to know that Lucas knows how she likes her tea. So I thought there was a very important small detail to point out in this scene.
Any news from the infirmary?
Nothing.
And Lucas sat down. He mentioned about the sandwiches coming out soon, and then he leaned back in his seat. Like at first, like to me, like he didn't know what to say or how to continue the conversation. And then he asked about the infirmary, and I thought that was very thoughtful of him to ask about other people.
I received some news from my mother. With the advice that you gave her, she convinced my father to come home.
Lucas, that's wonderful. Oh, I hope they're able to work things out.
Hope is all we can offer them.
And then he leaned forward again in his seat and put his elbows and hands on the table, and then he finally told Elizabeth about his parents. And that kind of like, to me, made me like think like, okay, was he anticipating or excited to tell Elizabeth the news? But the moment the environment was still public, and he doesn't really want to like come off as rude and just talk about himself and his family. I think he's just trying to find a way to ease that topic into the conversation.
You really are quite remarkable. And I hope you know how happy I am to have you in my life.
Lucas laid it all out. He has this confidence, like, okay, we are definitely going out as a couple. I mean, I know we're still new to this relationship, but like, you my lady, I'm your man. And he literally placed his hand on hers and just told her, you know, how great she is as a person. And Elizabeth, she just like very surprised, very shocked. And I think she was very uncomfortable because first, they are in a public setting. And the second of all, holding hands is like a strong way of physically showing you like someone, that you falling in love with someone. So it's a strong sign that Lucas really like her. And I think she just doesn't want other people to know it yet. I think she's still trying to learn how to move on completely from her past and just adjusting to that new reality of, okay, right now it's Lucas and I have this guy in my life and I went out with him a couple of times and things are going great. And I think showing your relationship in public is a big thing, and I truly believe that she wasn't ready. She wasn't ready to take that big step in this scene.
I'm sorry.
Of course.
Elizabeth apologized, and Lucas totally understood because he had to keep reminding himself again and again, like, okay, Elizabeth wants to take it slow, but Lucas is super excited to be in this relationship with Elizabeth, but on the other hand, he needs to mark that line, that boundary, like, okay, she wants to take it slow, like, I need to, like, keep that in the back of my mind. And Lucas wasn't, like, angry or anything. I think he was just, like, shocked, and also he just, like, humble himself, like, right, like, this is not a good idea, my bad, like, you know, Elizabeth is still in that phase of taking this slow, and I should respect that, and I should respect her. And then at the end, like, they smiled at each other, and smiled from Elizabeth to Lucas, like, hey, like, not that I don't like it, it's just I'm not ready to hold hands in public. Hopefully Lucas will be okay, because if I was in his position, that's like feeling like a rejection, you know? But it wasn't a rejection, it's just the timing wasn't right for Elizabeth, even though Lucas was totally ready to proclaim his relationship to the public.
Allie and I are making the adoption official in Bill's office the day after tomorrow. I know she would really like to have you there. I'd appreciate it if you would consider attending.
Nathan, it would be my honor.
With that quick, awkward moment of silence between the two, and Elizabeth gave that look like, you have something else to say, just say it. And Nathan seemed a bit nervous to say what he wanted to say. Of course, he mentioned it's so important to Allie, but then he added in, like, it's important for me, for you to be there for us. And Elizabeth was happy to accept the invitation, and I think she accepted it as a friend and as a teacher, and just being a support for this family. But however, the way that Nathan responded to her invitation acceptance, Nathan just, like, so smiley and, like, just giddy, and it's just like, I hope he is not taking this the wrong way, you know? I think Nathan doesn't know that Lucas and Elizabeth have gone that far in their relationship, like actually going on dates and just spending a lot of time together alone. So Nathan just still think that he still have a chance to be with Elizabeth, and having her there at the adoption hearing is just like a positive sign for him that, you know, he still has a chance. But you can see Elizabeth just like, you know, hopefully this doesn't turn out bad, you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't want to conflict her friendship with Nathan and Allie with her relationship with Lucas. But I think it was really nice that they started to talk again to one another and just be there for each other as friends through the good and bad times.
Thank you for going. Lucas, may I borrow your umbrella? I'd just like to check in on Florence.
Shall I escort you?
Thank you, though.
Lucas offered to help Joseph and let Elizabeth stay at the saloon so she wouldn't have get wet in the rain. That sacrifice, that gentleman-like sacrifice of allowing the woman to stay dry, and Lucas will eventually get wet to go to church with Joseph. She asked to borrow his umbrella, and the great guy that he is, Lucas set up porch, and he even offered her to escort her to the infirmary. And she's just like, no thank you. And at first I was like, why she said no, you know? If I was her, I'd be like, sure. But again, she going through that phase, that dark tunnel of like trying to keep this relationship hidden from everyone else. She's not ready to display some affection toward Lucas in public. And I think Lucas was kind of like a bit sad. Like you can see the look on his face at the end. He's just like thinking and wondering, you know, why she said no. But Lucas needs to remind himself again and again that he needs to be patient with her and with this relationship. And hopefully and eventually Elizabeth will be ready to take that next step and just to show to other people in Hope Valley that they are officially a couple.
Every man has his secret sorrows, which the world knows not.
I'm not familiar with that quote.
It's from a novel. It's about a man who falls in love with a woman who ultimately rejects him.
Are you trying to tell me something?
Lucas mentioned about this novel, and Elizabeth just trying to figure out what he's trying to say, and you can see like their minds are like interlinked. Like she knows that something is bothering him.
Well, I would like to hold your hand right now, but you have made it clear you're not ready for that sort of public display of affection.
I think I've been upfront and honest in requesting your patience.
And I have no intent of rushing you. Let me know when you're ready.
And I'm glad Lucas admitted like how he felt, what was bothering him, and how like he tried to hold her hand and she rejected that, and he's just feeling rejection. Like, okay, like you don't want to do PDA with me, you don't want to hold hands or be a couple in public, like you want to hide our relationship, and it's bothering him. And I cannot blame him entirely because he's the type of guy that's not gonna be stuck on page one. Like, sure, he would be patient with Elizabeth, but I think he wanted to remind her that eventually, in order to move on to the next step in a relationship, right? Like, you gotta do those things. And one of those things is to announce to the public, like, hey, we are a couple. And I think this is really important because Nathan needs to know that they are officially a couple. That can, cause some drama down the road. We'll see if that happens. But I think Luke is just trying to say, I respect you. I respect your wishes on this relationship. I'm willing to be patient with you. But I'm on this level and you like right here, and I'm not gonna yell at you or force you to do the things that I want you to do. Like, you do your own thing, like I do my own thing, and when you're ready, like we can continue our relationship. And if you're not ready and if you lose interest or whatever, we don't have to proceed to the next level in this relationship. And I think Elizabeth kind of like defended herself in this scene. She's like, well, you seem like impatient with me, like you tried to hold my hand and so forth. And she just thinking that Lucas is not on the same page as her. He is not, but he is not trying to be rude to her. But I'm just glad that he told her how he felt in that moment. And Lucas had to reassure her at the end of this scene, like, let me know when you're ready. Like, I am not forcing you. And I think that was a reassurance for her that, okay, so Lucas is not stepping out of this relationship. He's just basically gonna step aside and give her the space to think about it and to just process the reality, like, hey, Lucas is now your man, you know, no more Jack. I'm not trying to be rude, but it's just like, Jack is gone, like, he's out of the picture. Like, Lucas is right there in front of you, alive, like, right there. So I think it was a great confrontation for these two.
Why does she like Lucas?
Mr. Bouchard.
Why does she like Mr. Bouchard?
Why does Robert like Anna?
That isn't the same.
I appreciate your concern. But Mrs. Thornton's happy. And isn't that what we want for the people we care about?
I think this is when Allie finally is aware that there's something going on between Lucas and Elizabeth. If I was in her position, yeah, it would feel sucks. Like, man, like, you know, I saw the potential between my teacher and my uncle, but it did not work out in my favor.
She should care about you. And me.
She does care about us. And that's why I would like you to reconsider adding her onto the guest list.
Allie still had that attitude about the love triangle, but Nathan's just trying to be patient with her and to remind her, like, we need to be happy for Mrs. Thornton, and she is still your teacher, and she is still our family friend, and she's been there for us since the very beginning, and we have to return the same respect and the same care for her, no matter what is going on in our lives and in her life. So Allie is in that stage right now, like, oh man, like, Robert doesn't like me, but now my uncle is not getting the chance to date my teacher. Yeah, the love department is not working really well for Allie right now. But it's really nice that Nathan defended Elizabeth in this scene. He respected Elizabeth as who she is and as a friend and as a teacher. And it's really nice that Nathan put Allie in her place, because this is not about the love triangle. Like, this is about you and your adoption and us becoming a family. And I think that was more important than what was going on with Elizabeth and Lucas. And I think Nathan wanted Allie to stay on the horse and just focus on becoming a family officially.
Yes, sir. Do I have to invite Mr. Bouchard?
Well, I mean, if you don't want to invite him, that's fine.
One more thing, the end of this scene. When I first watched this, I was just like, I didn't really pay close attention, but watching it back, I was like, is Allie up to something? Elizabeth is more close to the family, so that's why Nathan, like, Elizabeth is on the list regardless, and he left the option open to Allie about inviting Lucas, and I feel like she is up to something. We'll see.
Hello, Nathan. Hi, Allie.
Hi.
Did you see the way she smiled at you, Uncle Nathan?
So this is the last scene for the first part of this episode. We will pick up with part 2 for the second half of this episode in the next video. I don't know about you, but let me know what you think. I thought Allie was over the top in this scene. I was like, Elizabeth did not smile that happy to Nathan. It was just like a normal, nice and happy greeting from Elizabeth. I don't think it wasn't that type of greeting like she liked Nathan like that, you know what I mean? Yeah, I thought that wasn't cool, because then it would have given Nathan some boost of confidence. And I'm like, you guys are reading the wrong signal in this love triangle. Let me know what you think of this scene, of any scene so far in this episode, we'll pick up in the second half of the episode the next day. I will see you tomorrow for part 2. I hope you're having a great start to December. I will see you soon. Bye.